In early 1973, I was given command of Howitzer Battery, 1st Squadron, 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment in Bayreuth, Germany. The battery was built around 6 M109 155mm self-propelled howitzers, big guns mounted on tracked chassis designed to maneuver with the regiment's tanks and armored personnel carriers. Our area of operations was the tri-zonal sector on the borders of West Germany, East Germany, and Czechoslovakia. The 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment, or the 2nd ACR, was heavy in armor and artillery, and we had several thousand infantrymen. But we were outgunned and outmanned by the Warsaw Pact, arrayed on the other side of the Iron Curtain. Allied conventional forces would not prevail against the mass of Soviet tank armies, mechanized infantry, and artillery divisions. So our defensive doctrine relied on a nuclear tripwire. The Army had nuclear missiles and artillery down to the battery level, and that included in my command. There were low-yield nuclear projectiles for each of the battery's 6 guns, and these were stored in a special weapons bunker near Bamberg, about 20 miles west of my caserne. During the first week of my command, I visited that bunker with 3 other officers in the battery's personnel reliability program, the fail-safe control system that guaranteed atomic weapons would be used only on the direct order of the President of the United States. The 4 of us formed 2-man red and blue teams, each carrying half of the release cipher. If the day ever came when we had to go nuclear, a member of each team would combine ciphers with his counterpart to unlock the permissive action links. These were large locks on each projectile. They prevented the loading of these weapons into the howitzers, which would be fired with presidential approval. As part of my orientation, the warrant officer working that morning shift had opened all 6 projectile cases for inspection. We stood in a circle in the floodlights, staring down at the weapons. Had it not been for the markings on the permissive action links on these conical projectiles, they could have been standard 155mm high explosive rounds. But if the Cold War ever went hot, and Soviet tanks rolled over the barbed wire fences and minefields marking our sector of the border, the dark pines of the Bämerwald would have erupted with nuclear explosions. This was a prospect that'd keep a 26-year-old captain awake, and it sure did me. In truth, though, we had concerns more immediate than the threat of an enemy invasion. I spent a lot of time worrying about the nuclear weapons inspections to which we were subjected constantly without warning. A cadre of tight-lipped, absolutely no-joke officers from 7th Corps, U.S. Army Europe, or the Defense Nuclear Agency would descend on our squadrons, on the batteries, and on our storage bunkers. If our state of training, our knowledge of procedures, our record keeping, and projectile storage and maintenance didn't meet incredibly rigorous standards, we'd fail the inspection. This was the military equivalent of bankruptcy. The battery commander, the squadron commander, maybe even the colonel commanding the regiment would surely be relieved, and our next assignments would probably be as latrine orderlies at a National Guard training camp in northern Wisconsin. Serving in Germany in the 1970s certainly had its challenges. In this room is one of 4 remaining 155mm nuclear weapons training devices. Its appearance, its size, its weight are exactly the same as the actual 155 nuclear projectile.